Once, in the remote wilderness of Alaska, there was a small, isolated village known for its breathtaking landscapes and harsh winters. However, it was also the site of a chilling mystery that locals whispered about in hushed tones. In the late 1970s, a young couple, Sarah and Tom, decided to spend a winter in the village, seeking adventure and solitude. They rented a small cabin on the outskirts, surrounded by dense forests. The first few weeks were idyllic. They explored the snowy terrain, went ice fishing, and enjoyed the peaceful isolation. As the days grew shorter and the nights longer, strange occurrences began to unsettle them. At night, they heard soft tapping sounds on the cabin walls, which they initially dismissed as the wind or branches. However, the sounds became more pronounced, almost like scratching, and they noticed footprints in the snow leading up to their door. Footprints that did not belong to either of them. One evening, as a blizzard raged outside, they decided to stay indoors and keep warm by the fire. Just as they settled in, they heard a loud crash from the kitchen. Rushing in, they found their pantry door wide open and all their food scattered across the floor. Frightened, they locked the door and stayed close together, trying to convince themselves it was just an animal. Days passed, but the eerie events continued. They started to see shadowy figures darting between the trees outside, and their unease grew. One night, they decided to go to bed early, hoping to escape the mounting dread. But as they lay in silence, they heard a faint whispering outside, growing louder and more frantic. It was as if someone was calling for help. Terrified, they peered out the window but saw nothing. The whispers faded into the howling wind, but the couple couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. One morning, they decided to leave the cabin and hike to the nearby village for help. As they walked through the woods, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin. Curiosity got the better of them, and they entered. Inside, they found remnants of an old journal, detailing the final days of a family who had lived there decades earlier. The entries spoke of madness, isolation, and a mysterious figure that haunted their dreams, an entity they believed was drawing them deeper into the wilderness. Frightened and feeling the weight of history, Sarah and Tom rushed back to their cabin. That night, the whispers returned, now louder and more insistent. They could hear a voice calling Sarah's name, almost pleading. Panic-stricken, they packed their things, determined to leave at dawn. But as they prepared to sleep one last time, the cabin door swung open violently, revealing a dark figure standing in the doorway. Paralyzed with fear, they realized this was the entity from the journal. In a surge of adrenaline, they sprinted past the figure and into the snowy night. They ran until they reached the village, breathless and terrified. The villagers welcomed them and listened to their story, nodding knowingly. They revealed that many had experienced similar hauntings in the woods, always connected to the abandoned cabin. Sarah and Tom left Alaska soon after, forever haunted by the shadows of that winter. To this day, the villagers continue to tell their story, warning others about the dangers of the wilderness and the restless spirits that roam the snow-covered forests of Alaska.